January 6, 2020. Thanks for joining me. Hope you all are well out there. The Queen is back on this evening. I will be doing 2 lives this evening, so I hope you will stick around for both journeys tonight. My first live is going to be with a mother out of California who's seeking justice for her missing daughter. Sheree Smith is the name of the lady who will be giving her testimony tonight about her missing daughter, Desiree Thompson, who went missing back in January 7th, 2012, 9 years ago. She was 30 years of age. She was currently married to a gentleman, and he is believed to be the suspect, Mr. Edward Gibson. Desiree was born September 23rd, 1981. She currently left behind 4 children, 3 boys and 1 girl, ages 23, 22, 15, and 13. And those children are currently living with her mother, Miss Sheree Smith. Sheree wants justice for her child. She wants to be able to bring her child home so she can give her a proper burial. She wants to know where this Edward Gibson is, and she wants justice served. This crime took place in California City, California, and she reached out to me from watching the story that I brought you about the missing boys in California, and she's seeking justice, and I'm going to help her get it if I can. Edward was married before to a woman in Missouri. Don't know if he still has contact with her, has a son. So he does have ties to Missouri. I'm hoping that someone will watch this video tonight and let Edward know that this mother, Miss Sheree Smith, has not forgotten about her child, and she believes, Mr. Gibson, that you are responsible for the disappearance of her daughter. Her daughter would never stay gone without contacting her mother. Desiree had a good relationship with her mother, Miss Sheree Smith, and she wants to know where her child is. And she does believe that you are responsible for the disappearance of her daughter, Desiree. And that's the spoken word. So if anybody out there knows that Edward Gibson, know that we're going to stay on this. We're going to get justice for Desiree because it is believed that you are the cause of her disappearance. And it's 9 years later. No one has seen this woman, heard from her. Her children were left behind without a mother. And it's not fair to them, and it's not fair to Miss Sheree. She wants her child, and she wants to know where she can find her child. So Edward Gibson, if you're out there somewhere in California or wherever, know that California City Police Department will be contacted with the cold case files, and we're going to find out where you are. We're going to find you. So for your sake, I hope you're deceased, because we're not going to rest, and this lady's not going to rest. She wants her child back, at least to give her a proper burial, and that is due to her and her children. I'm going to read you all some sad information about Miss Desiree, and then we will call Miss Sheree on the phone, and Sheree will give you the story of her child's life and what she believed happened to her daughter on January 7th, 2012. Hello, everybody. I want to let you know I will not be engaging in the chat with you guys because I'm going to read this off, and then I'm going to call Miss Sheree, and she's going to talk a while, and I'm not going to be able to talk to you all, while she's giving her testimony about what she thinks happened to her daughter. So just bear with me if you can and hold on, but I want you to listen to what she has to say, and I really greatly appreciate this, because this is her moment to get the word out about her missing daughter, who has been missing for 9 years now. Desiree Thompson, 30, vanished under suspicious circumstances on January 7, 2012. She was last seen that evening after a frightening incident with her estranged husband, Edward Face, that was his nickname, Gibson III. There were reportedly several instances of domestic violence and encounters with the police throughout Desiree's relationship with Gibson. On the night of her disappearance, Gibson showed up at Desiree's home in California City, California, unannounced. When Desiree answered the door, Gibson pointed a shotgun at her face. It appears that no shots were actually fired at that time, as Desiree was seen alive just a few hours after that incident. After that last sighting, she was never seen or heard from again. Desiree is the niece of songwriter, producer Kenneth Howard Smith, who is most famously known for his work on Motown and D-Town Records. Smith has reportedly used his numerous resources to help spread awareness about Desiree's disappearance, but unfortunately, very few leads and clues have turned up. Investigators have also been searching for Gibson, who also vanished on the evening of Desiree's disappearance. So, when she went missing, he went missing. And it is believed that he is on the run. Gibson is wanted on charges of burglary, domestic violence, violating a court order, brandishing a firearm, and possessing a firearm as a felon. Additionally, Gibson remains the only person of interest suspect in Desiree's case. Gibson is described as 6'3" and approximately 200 pounds. Investigators warn that he may be armed and dangerous. Anyone with information about his whereabouts is urged to contact authorities. If you have any other information that could lead to Desiree's whereabouts, please go here to submit an anonymous tip. And I'm trying to see. I don't see anything here. Just contact the California City Police Department. I think you all heard so much about California City here lately. They are ridden with crime, from what I've heard. A lot of drug trafficking, a lot of drug incidents, murders. There are several cases of missing people. As you already know, we're talking about 2 missing children already, currently out of California City, California. And there are cases of people missing there in cold case. And I will be bringing you another cold case who is a friend of Miss Sheree. It's the issue with her daughter. And she was murdered. And they have a Facebook page for her. I will bring that one to you probably tomorrow. But I'm going to read you a little bit of information that she sent to me, and then I will dial her up. She said he could still be in California City or Lancaster, California, Palmdale, California, or Hawthorne, or even in Missouri. So if anyone knows Mr. Edward Gibson, please contact the authorities and let them know he is a suspect in the disappearance of a woman out of California City, California, by the name of Desiree Thompson. She was 30 years of age at the time of her disappearance. Her birthday is tomorrow, and she went missing 9 years ago. There are 8 cold cases out there, California City. This is Miss Sheree's word. I don't have faith in the law enforcement out there. The cases are 3 missing persons. This includes my daughter, and 5 murders. The last post shows all the cases. There was a lot done wrong in my daughter's case. I will give you that. Give you what I know when you're ready. Thank you and God bless. And those are the words of Miss Sheree Smith. We're getting ready to roll with it. You will now hear the testimony from Miss Smith, Sheree Smith, in the disappearance of her daughter. Hi, honey. How are you? I've got 7 in the chat, 3 thumbs up. Thanks for joining me. Super Chatter Queen, if you can. If not, we're still copacetic. I've got Miss Sheree Smith on the phone from California. She's going to give you her testimony about her daughter, her life, and what she believes happened to her daughter on January 7th, 2012. All right. Let's go, ma'am.
Hello. Thank you, everybody. So my daughter, as she said, my name is Sheree. My name is Sheree Smith. I'm from California. And on January 7th of 2012, my daughter became missing under suspicious circumstances. My daughter was a beautiful soul.
Take your time, man.
And the mother of 4 children. I'm sorry, everybody.
It's okay. It's okay.
My daughter struggled with self-esteem issues. Why, I don't know. She was just such a beautiful person. She would give her last to a stranger. But she struggled for many years with self-esteem, depression, deep depression, to the extent that she actually tried to commit suicide a couple of times. She ended up getting herself into a bad situation, always trying to find love in the wrong places, finding the wrong men. Her husband was abusive.
Give his name.
His name is Edward Gibson.
Okay.
Goes by the street name of Face. She was married to him for a couple of years. My daughter, prior to her and her husband getting together, in the instance of her and these men, some of the ones that are fathers to the children, my daughter's children, my daughter did get involved in drugs. She ended up going to prison around the time that she got married. She went to prison because of not completing her classes on time. He also went to jail. He went to prison for domestic violence on my daughter at that time. He was released before her, and his mother had came out to California City and rented a home for them to have when they were released. He was at that home for quite some time before my daughter's release, and then they moved from there, moved to the apartment where she was at when she disappeared. So the night of her disappearance was domestic violence. My daughter got tired of dealing with him. She had since tried to change her complete life, had signed up for college classes. She was planning on using her grant money to move away from him because she was tired of dealing with him, not wanting to change his life, and she was tired of the abuse. The night that all this happened was in the wee hours of January 7th, around 2-3 o'clock in the morning. My daughter had contacted Edward and told him that his things were outside. She had packed his things and put them out. And he came to the door once. She wouldn't allow him to come in. So he left. The little part that I forgot was that particular day, he had a friend of his there with his girlfriend. So the men were off, I guess, getting high and doing their drugs and getting drunk or whatever. My daughter and his friend's girlfriend were at the house. After the first time of coming to the house, Edward then came back with his friend. Only this time he kicked in the door. The complete door frame was gone from the door. He went off on my daughter. He pulled a shotgun on her and had it to my daughter's face, in which my 4-year-old granddaughter had to see. His friend then came between my daughter and the gun and got her husband out of the house. When they left,
Okay, honey.
they were not familiar with California City, especially the young lady. So his friend made his girlfriend leave with them. She didn't want to go. She was scared to death. And so he made her leave. They took my son-in-law's car and they dropped him off somewhere in California City. They then went to Fast Strip to get gas. Upon them leaving the house, my daughter grabbed up my granddaughter and ran to a neighbor's house and called the police. They came out, and by the time his friend and his girlfriend had gotten to the Fast Strip to get gas, when he came out from paying for the gas station was surrounded by Cal City Police Department. They then took both of them into custody, him and his girlfriend. Nobody gave up any information as to where they dropped him off, my son-in-law off at. The young lady, both of them had minor warrants. So they took my son-in-law's friend to jail. He was locked up for 3 or 4 days. And they then took the young lady because her little warrant was a little ticket or something, jaywalking ticket, parking ticket, something, I don't know. But it was something really minor. And so they chose to take her back over to my daughter's and asked my daughter if it was okay if she could stay there. And so my daughter, being who she is, absolutely, she allowed the girl to stay there with her. So I know about none of this until the following day.
Mm-hmm. Tell them why you think your daughter stayed. Hello, everybody. Tell them why you think your daughter stayed behind in that apartment, and let them know that she did barricade herself inside that said apartment.
Well, he had broken the door down so bad the door wouldn't even close.
Okay. So she barricaded herself in.
She barricaded herself in. Okay. Not just because the door wouldn't close, but because she truly feared for her life.
So do you think she feared you?
Huh?
You think she didn't want you to get involved, so that's the reason why she didn't go and stay with you?
No. I don't know. I honestly don't know why she wanted to stay. That was her first house.
Oh, it's a house. I'm sorry. Okay.
I mean, apartment.
Okay, I'm sorry. No, that's okay.
Yeah, it's a duplex.
Okay, it's a duplex. Okay, I got you.
She, that was her first place.
Okay.
To call her own. But she always lived with me.
Okay.
I'm sorry, my granddaughter is trying to talk to me.
That's okay.
So
they'll hang on.
Yeah. So she, all of this happened in the wee hours. So the next day, my daughter and I, we talked all the time. It was a daily thing. If we didn't text, we called each other.
Okay.
And I kept calling, and I wasn't getting any response. I'm messaging, I'm not getting any response. So I knowing that there's been issues, and even though, I've tried to talk her into coming home and leaving him multiple times. My daughter was the type that believed, which is my belief as well, when you get married, you stay married.
Right.
But like I tried to explain to her, when there's certain instances in which that becomes impossible.
Right.
And for your own safety and your children's safety, it's better to walk away sometimes. But my daughter, she loved him. I believe she thought she could fix him.
Right.
And that was her husband.
Right.
And I think that's really, truly sad to say the reason why she stayed.
Right.
And so, that next day when I couldn't get a hold of her, I went over to her house. And as I knocked on the door, she told me, "Mom, come through the sliding glass door." Mm-hmm. So me not thinking anything, I go through the sliding go around to the side of the house, the apartment, through the gate and into the sliding glass door. And I'm thinking my daughter is a clean freak, so she's in there cleaning, probably doing carpets and whatnot. So I had no idea until I walked in, and out of my peripheral, all I see is all the furniture piled up against the door.
Right.
And at that point, I asked her, "What the hell happened? What happened?" You know. And so she proceeded to tell me the events of that night, where she had put him out, and he had came back twice. And the last time he came, was when he put the gun to her face, and he had threatened her. He told her, when he put the gun to her face, he told her that it would be her last breath when he left.
Okay.
And so then that's when her friend stepped in. I mean, his friend stepped in and took him out.
Right.
Well, that day when I went in there, she's telling me all of this. I'm telling her her and the young lady needed to leave and come to my house.
Right.
They did not need to stay in that house at all. And she refused. She simply refused to leave. And she just kept telling me, "No, Mama, I don't want to leave my home. Right. I don't want to leave my house."
Right.
And so I was like, "Okay, I can't make you leave, but the baby's going. I'm taking the baby." So I took my granddaughter and I went home, and I had told my daughter before I left to please contact me if she needed anything. And
so there was only one child that you took with you?
I didn't hear anything else from her.
Okay.
Until 8:30 that evening.
Okay.
And so the following that 8:30 that evening is when she had called me from a mutual friend of theirs, and told me that she had went over there to see if anybody had a phone that she could borrow until I could get her one, because he had taken hers or broken it or something. And I was like, okay. I was like, "Would you really need to come home?" I was begging her, "Please just come home." And she was like, "No, I'm going to go back to my house." And I told her, I said, "Okay." I said, "If you have to use the neighbor's phone, call them and call me.
Mm-hmm.
Go ask them if you can call me and let me know that you made it home, okay?" She never called. So the next morning, without any answers from her, I got up and I went over to the house.
Okay. And what time was this? What time was this when you went to her house?
It was probably about 10, 11 in the morning. And so I went in, and the young lady was still there. And she told me that she had called the police and reported my daughter missing. At that point, she said that my daughter had left at 6 that evening, saying that she was going to get a cigarette from the liquor store.
So she never returned back to the apartment with the girl staying there? She never returned. Okay.
Yeah, she never returned from that. Okay. So I explained to the young lady that I had spoken to my daughter at 8:30.
Okay.
And at that point, I told her, I said, "Well, you know what? Let me call the number she called me from to see if maybe she stayed there." Because, like I said, the other young lady didn't know anything about Cal City. She didn't know nothing about my daughter's other friends or anybody out there. She didn't know anybody. Mm-hmm. So, no, it's too late. It's dark. It's too dark, baby. It's too dark. I'm on a live feed, please. Anyway, sorry.
Being a grandmother, anyway, I understand.
Yes, I am. My grandbaby, I'm very protective of her.
I understand.
Anyway, so I called over there, and the people told me that my daughter had left at 9 o'clock.
Wow.
And at that point, I told them,
she had left at 9 o'clock that night?
Yes.
So she came back from the store?
No, she never went home. She went from the store to their house.
To somebody else's house. Okay, I got you.
Mm-hmm. And then she called me from there at 8:30.
At 8:30. So
she never made it home.
So your last contact was 8:30.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when she left that house, she never made it back home.
Okay.
And so I informed them. I said, "Do you realize that my daughter never came home?
Okay.
Do you know if she left with anybody?" They didn't know anything. She walked out the door and obviously just disappeared. You know, and I'm like, it's somebody saw something, somebody knows something.
Okay.
You know,
right.
But the last part of the conversation with my daughter, she asked me, had her husband called me, and I told her yes. She asked me then, whose number did he call from? And I told her it was a young lady that they both knew. That was a mutual friend of theirs. And I also told the police this, because every time he called me, there were several times he called me. Have you found her yet? Did you find her? Have you heard anything yet? Yes, I got these conversations, but he would call me from block calls. At first, I would call the police and give them the numbers that he would call me from.
Okay.
And then he was blocking calls.
Oh, okay.
He started blocking them, and then he stopped calling at all.
Okay, when you all were trying to make contact with him?
Yeah, right, because, you know, I told him that on one of the conversations that I had with him, if you are innocent and you have nothing to do with my daughter being gone right now, then you need to turn yourself in, clear yourself, so they can focus on my daughter.
Right.
This is your wife. You should be a little more concerned than you are right now.
Right.
I said, and as long as you don't turn yourself in,
right,
then you're guilty.
Okay.
You did something. And it'll be my dying breath, if it takes my dying breath to find out who did it, to bring my daughter home and get some kind of closure for this.
Okay. So do you believe other people involved? You told me earlier you think that other young lady was involved. Another young lady could be involved, or at least know something about your daughter's disappearance.
Oh, the young lady that was there at the house, she knew nothing. She's still concerned.
Okay.
I've spoken to her just months ago.
Oh, you still in contact with her? That's okay.
Yeah, I talked to her months ago, and she was like, my God, she's still missing. This girl got away from the boyfriend. She had her son, because she was pregnant at the time when all this happened, her first baby. And she was just deathly scared of her boyfriend after this, too. Okay. So she got away from hers, and I hadn't had any contact with her until one day on Facebook. She tried to contact me through Facebook, and we exchanged numbers, and I spoke with her then. Okay. But my daughter, the last bit of that conversation with my daughter, and when she asked me about him calling, at that point I told her, leave that alone. Yeah. So what do you think happened? I believe my daughter called him. Yeah, she called him from. And I believe at some point he came and got her. Picked her up. Okay. Yep. Yep. Wow. And that night she said he was so enraged and so demonic. She was like, it was horror. She said it was horrifying looking at him. She wasn't looking at him. And that's when I told her, you're right, you weren't. You were looking at demons. So I wonder what made her call him. Was it fear, or she just wanted to see if he would try to talk calmly? You don't know, because you haven't talked to her. And nobody can give you any information. My assumption, because my daughter loved him. Right. Was to try to fix her marriage. Okay. Yeah. And I kept telling her, you have to get away before. I said, this can lead. Yes. To something worse. Okay. And unfortunately, yes, it did. Before she got away. Okay. So Miss Sheree, who's in California right now, has a missing daughter. Hello, everybody. And she wants you all to know she wants her child found. Her child disappeared at the age of 30. It's 9 years ago, you guys. And tomorrow will be the anniversary of her disappearance.
Will be the anniversary of her disappearance, January 7th, 2012. We are looking for Edward Gibson. She believes he is in California, still in California, perhaps. They don't have any children, correct?
No,
they have no children. They were only married for about what, 2 years?
Yeah.
2 years, roughly.
About
2 years. And this man came to her, put a shotgun to her face, where they lived together, correct?
Yes.
And the friend came between them, and he left. And at some point, Desiree went to the store, correct?
Yes.
To get a cigarette. And then she went to what? A friend's home, apartment?
She went to a mutual friend.
She went to a mutual friend of hers and the husband's home to visit. She called her mom, Miss Sheree, at about 8:30 p.m. And that's the last time Miss Sheree Smith has heard from her daughter, Desiree Thompson. And this man is obviously dangerous because I read you his bio in the beginning of the video. And he's somewhere out here, I'm sure. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Now, mind you, this man was on parole.
He was on parole.
He was on parole when this happened.
Okay.
The police department issued a warrant.
Okay.
They wanted him for questioning.
Okay.
And 2 years later, when I and a friend of mine found him and took the information to the police department,
okay,
they then told me that the warrant had expired and he was no longer on parole. Okay. And they did, even if they went and knocked on the door, he didn't have to talk to them.
Of course, because he was off parole.
So they never questioned him.
But the parole don't have anything. My thing is, if you're a suspect in a disappearance, it doesn't matter about the parole. They should want to talk to you, talk to the person, exactly, just because you're the last person that could have seen and talked to the missing person.
This is exactly why I say what I say about that law enforcement out there. Now, mind you, most of the officers that were there at the time when my daughter disappeared are not there anymore.
So
they have since been transferred.
So in California City, the department, the police department, the people who were working the case at the time naturally no longer are there. She did speak to a detective, and I'll let you speak and say what you feel about the detective you spoke to.
Okay, so it's been a year and a half ago or so. Actually, yeah, it's probably longer than that. I got a Facebook messenger, a message on Messenger from a detective. He told me that because he had his name disguised at the time when he messaged me.
The detective did?
Yes, he did. But he told me who he was at the time, in the message.
Okay.
But his what he went under on Messenger was
alias,
just a totally different name. Yes. So
wow. So why do you think he did that? That's crazy. So you think?
I don't know. I don't know. But I met with him that day.
Okay.
I believe it was that day or the next day. I met with him.
Okay.
And I also met with a lady from the victims bureau.
Okay.
Which is in Mojave, California.
Okay.
She was also with him.
Okay.
So he informed me that he was semi-retired homicide detective from Los Angeles, California. He was asked to work these 8 cases in California City.
Mercy.
And this man, let me tell you, this man was literally doing the work.
Okay.
He was really right. He was really trying. He was pulling in other agencies. He was doing everything that California City was not doing. And they even at one point, I don't even know if it's still standing at this point right now. I really got discouraged and when he left and was no longer working the case. But he was there for about a little over a year or so.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden I get a message from him again telling me that he was sorry.
Okay.
He was no longer there.
Okay.
That the department did not want to, basically didn't want to come up with the money or spend the money for the investigations.
Okay.
And some of the investigations were going to involve travel.
Oh, wow.
They didn't want to put forth any money.
So I wonder about that. Travel
also,
like where?
He also indicated that he was finding corruption within the department.
Okay.
I told him on my first visit with him that I felt something was deeply wrong with that system out there.
California City. She's speaking of California City, California Police Department, which we already know about what's going on now.
So it's a private police department. It's not like we have here where I'm at. We have Kern County Sheriffs, we have LA County Sheriffs, things like that. Okay. They are California City Police Department. So they're really like a private entity out there.
Okay.
So, and there's not a lot of them. So I get the workload being extremely hard. Yes. But, you know, you got to put forth the effort, and the effort was not put forth. Okay. If you ask me. And anyway, he had told me that he started discovering some corruption, which at this point, when I get to that part of this message from him, my heart is just dropping, because I knew in my gut it was just a feeling. There's just something not right. And so I'm knowing that, okay, he's finding corruption. They're booting him out.
Right. He's been saying something or
because
poking around.
They don't want him to get right. They don't want him
poking the bear,
diving and picking and prodding and finding out whatever they're trying to hide. And so that's the last time that my daughter's case, of my knowledge, that anything's been done. Okay.
So your message today is what you want the world to know?
My family and I need closure. Okay. This is a nightmare that we have lived for 9 years. Okay. And I'm the one that I have to be strong for them, because they don't have anybody else. Right. I need justice to be served. Okay. I need justice to be served. The fact that he has never been even spoken to.
Yeah, I find that. I think that's disgusting, matter of factly.
Exactly. It makes my skin crawl. It just angers me. And I deeply, deeply fear for somebody else's child.
Right. Because we don't know if he's done anything else with another woman.
As far as what the detective had told me, there has been nothing on the radar with him. Nothing.
Like breaking the law or any records? No records, nothing. Okay.
Yes, I find that hard to believe.
Well, he could have left California because, you know.
He has a record.
Well, he has a record, but let's just say he knows if I do anything in California, this mess will come up about my wife who's missing. Absolutely. And they'll hound me to death. So he could have left California just so he can go do what he wants to do somewhere else, and California won't come up.
Yeah, he hung out here for so long if he's still here.
Right.
And I know his mother is helping him financially. Okay. Or she was. Okay. Because prior to all of this happening, she would send him money. Okay. Through a NetSpend card. Okay. Through NetSpend or whatever, a Green Dot. Through a Green Dot card.
Okay. Remember Green Dot.
So, yeah. So, and I told the police this. You know, I know she's helping him financially somehow.
Right.
You know.
So you think she's still alive, his mom?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so you know this. Okay.
I'm positive she's still alive. I'm positive she's still alive.
Okay.
But what gets me is the fact that, first of all, I've never known a warrant to expire. Especially on a parolee, on parole.
Right, and that's a reason for them to have gone to talk to him just because he was on parole.
Exactly, and for him to be on parole for domestic violence, which he was on. Okay, he was on parole for domestic violence. Okay. This offense was a domestic violence, and my daughter's disappearance.
Right.
So there was a gun involved. My granddaughter told one of the CSOs, one of the par educators at school that she got close with. That there was a knife involved. I never knew anything about the knife.
Who said that? Your granddaughter?
My granddaughter told.
He pulled a knife on her.
Yeah, that he pulled a knife on her too.
God. I mean, that's extreme. Daughter, the shotgun was one thing.
Right. Well, to my granddaughter, my daughter never told me anything about a knife. She told me about the gun.
The gun. Okay.
My granddaughter is the one that said, but she was 4.
Yeah, but 4 years old, they can see. They can see it here at 4.
So, and she's never mentioned. She's never told me.
That
she's only told this paraeducator.
Okay.
Yes, and confided in her.
Okay.
And so, my granddaughter suffers from PTSD and selective mutism because of all of this.
Right. How old is she now?
She just turned 13.
13 years old.
Mm-hmm. She went from Head Start to 2nd grade and never spoke to a teacher or nobody.
Okay.
Until I put her in a special program, which is a program out here for behaviorally challenged children.
Okay.
But
how do you think she's doing, in your opinion?
She still struggles.
Okay.
She's doing better. She has improved.
Okay.
But she still shuts down and she still doesn't talk to people.
Does she have friends?
She has a couple friends.
Okay.
That she deals with. Just maybe 2 friends. She keeps herself covered.
Okay.
At all times.
Okay.
So she keeps her hair covered. She doesn't let her hair show. Okay. So she'll keep a hat.
She perhaps she may be afraid of men. You understand what I'm saying? You think she's afraid of men? You don't think she's afraid of men?
I don't know. I don't know what it is. She.
I mean, because imagine being 4 years old and see this big guy, because he's 6'3". So to a child, that's like a monster, like a giant.
But you know what? She was very close to him.
Let's see. Okay.
My granddaughter was very close to him.
Okay.
To her, that was her.
But this was not her father, the 4-year-old. This was
but to her
mother's husband. Okay.
And he spoiled her rotten.
Wow.
He spoiled her rotten.
So he had affection for children, but not for women.
I guess. He treated my granddaughter very well. Very well.
So do you believe this man did this?
She was a little princess.
Do you believe Edward Gibson harmed your child?
My daughter? Yes, I do.
Okay.
I absolutely do.
Okay. Because you had a close relationship with your daughter.
My daughter and I were extremely close. Everybody that knows us from the time my daughter was born always called her my shadow.
Okay. Well, that's what I want everyone to know, is that you had a good relationship with your child. You talked to your child at night. I call her child because she's still your child. No disrespect.
She's my child.
Yeah, she's your
child. That's
my baby. You had a close relationship. She had a close relationship with her daughter, Desiree. They always talked.
Always.
And she talked to her at 8:30 that night and never heard from her again.
My daughter would have never been gone away from her children this long.
And she did have children.
She's missed birthday. She's missed
4 kids.
Christmases.
Left behind.
Thanksgiving. Yes. She never missed any of that with them.
So do the kids talk about her?
The older ones do now.
The older ones do
The
now?
two younger ones don't talk about her that much.
Okay, the young ones don't talk about the mom that much. Okay, I got you.
No. I can't, the 15-year-old, sometimes I can sit and talk to him, and he'll say things that he remembers about his mom.
Are you talking about her daughter that's missing, Ann? How old would Desiree be right now if she was alive? Or it showed up,
She just had her 39th birthday, September.
Okay, 39.
23rd.
September 23rd, she would have been 39 years old. She does believe that her daughter is what? I'd rather you say it than me say it. Do you think your daughter's alive?
No, I don't.
Sheree Smith does not think her daughter is alive.
I don't.
Okay.
My daughter would not have been gone this long without contacting us.
Okay. This is terrible because 4 kids were left behind besides you. You were the mother. She was your only child, correct? The only girl child you had?
No, she was my only daughter. I have 2 sons.
Okay. She is Sheree's only daughter, and Sheree has 2 other sons that are living.
Yes.
2 other sons living. Miss Sheree Smith lives in California. I won't disclose her location only because people are nutty, and I've got this man's name on Front Street, and you just never know who might want to do something or say something. But Edward Gibson, you are now on blast. This woman wants to know where her child is. Where's her baby? She wants to know where her child is, and she believes you're responsible for the disappearance of Desiree Thompson. And if you're in California, California City, where else? Hawthorne. Where else your name?
Just give me my daughter back.
She wants to know where her daughter is. Edward Gibson, if you're listening, just tell us what you did with her. Because this woman believes that her child is no longer living. She would never go without calling her mother or contacting her children. She would have never abandoned her children. Yes, she has a granddaughter. How many girls, right? Just one girl, granddaughter?
My daughter only had one little girl.
Only one girl Desiree had, and the rest were boys. All the ages are 23, 22, 15, 13, and the lady that you are listening to is Sheree Smith of California. All these children currently live with Miss Sheree in California. Her daughter went missing in California City, California, of all places. Yes, I know. She believed at the time that the police department was corrupt at this time. This would have been 2012. Tomorrow will be the anniversary, January 7th, 2012, that Desiree went missing in California City, California. I brought you this story today because she reached out to me, listening to what I've been talking about with the missing boys in California City.
My heart goes out to them.
And she expressed to me about her child missing, and I said, well, we're going to give your child a voice. And I told her she needs to reach out to different networks such as Oxygen, A&E, somebody who can give her child a proper storyline, because I feel like somebody knows this man, somebody talks to this man, somebody has dated this man. He allegedly has a son.
Somebody knows something.
Yeah, somebody knows something. And we've learned.
Somebody knows something. Somebody saw something.
Right.
I know this.
Right. People will talk. And I also told Miss Sheree that perhaps just a short GoFundMe page just for a reward, because it seems that people only talk when money's involved. But if you Google Desiree Thompson's name, you will see information about her disappearance and the said information of the night she went missing. And I could have sworn I saw something on a Facebook post when I pulled her name up.
I post her all the time.
Okay, so you post her. Do you have a Facebook page for her?
With her.
You got, okay, so you don't mind if people share anything on your Facebook page?
Oh, absolutely not.
So if you want to post anything about her, go to Sheree Smith's Facebook page. She said she will be posting something in remembrance of her daughter, Desiree Thompson. The guy we're looking for is Edward Gibson. He is a black male, 6'3". At the time, I think it was 200-something pounds, because that's been some years ago. He may have picked up more weight. He could be smaller.
He's thin as the wind, girl.
He's what? He's what?
He's thin as the wind.
Oh, he's thin as the wind. Well, that's because he's been chasing Jason, so that's why he's Beam me up, Scotty, if
Yeah.
y'all know what that means.
Yep.
He has a problem. He has a problem. Was there anything else you'd
Yes,
like
he
to say
does.
before I let you go, so you can, unwind for tonight? And I'm gonna talk to the chat and let them give their comments and let you sit back and watch the comments and see what the
I
people have
thank
to
you.
say. I love you.
Thank you. God bless you.
I put this
I
butterfly on
appreciate this.
because Desiree and Mommy likes butterflies, and this is going straight to the post office tomorrow to the California City area.
I thank you.
Do you live somewhere near
God bless
California
you.
City? Are you somewhere in that
And
vicinity? Don't tell where you live, but you live somewhere near or farther out?
yeah, I
Far out?
live. Yeah, I live about an hour,
Okay.
give or take an hour.
So you live.
away
So okay.
from California City
So at the
right now.
time of the disappearance,
I couldn't. Yeah, I couldn't stay there
stay
any
there, live.
longer.
Oh well,
And
I
he
couldn't see
pressed me.
anybody wanting to live there. I couldn't see anybody wanting to stay there. The child got missing.
Well, when you sit up and you see missing persons all the time. You
Oh
never
yes.
know, you never think it's gonna happen to
To you, and that's what I tell the
And
that's what I
as
tell
I-
the viewers.
And as I went through that town, and my daughter's face was plastered all over the place,
Mhm.
it was killing me, and I was starting to go into a depression because it was just me and the children out there. So I moved closer to my family.
Okay, I understand that.
Just so that I could have some kind of support
Yes.
and feel like,
Right.
because I was alone. I was alone out there with these children.
Right.
And fighting this. And I had just had back surgery. I was barely getting around. I'm in a walker. I had a scooter, and I'm trying to take care of 4 children. 5
You're
children
good.
because of
You're
my
a good
time
grandmother
at the
because
time.
you know what's after we have this current case that we're talking about with the boys missing in California City and that dire situation that's going on and the new stuff that's unfolding with the missing boys. It is an honor to know you have taken care of those kids and they did not end up in foster care because let's say had you not been around, that would have been 4 kids in DHS custody. And only God knows where these 4 kids could have ended up and the situations they could have ended up. And as I've told people, when you have brothers and sisters, there's no guarantee that you can place all 4 kids in the same foster home or adoptive home.
Absolutely. These children are my life. I've been there for every one of their births.
Lord have mercy.
I've been there with them every day of their lives.
Right. Yes, Debbie Schiller.
These are my babies.
Is this your friend Debbie Schiller phone? Is it full name?
Deb phones?
She's in the chat.
That's her. That's her.
I want you to stay in the chat because I'm going to be bringing your story next. She's told me about your situation.
That was murdered out there.
Okay. Go ahead. I'll let you tell her story briefly, then I'll let you jump off.
Yes, her daughter was murdered in June of 2016.
Okay.
And that's how we became acquainted because of all the cases that were going on out there.
Okay.
Deb had reached out to me.
Okay.
And I love this woman to death.
Okay.
She has gone beyond trying to help all these families with the murder cases, with her own daughter's case, with the missing persons cases, my daughter's case.
Okay.
She's a godsend too.
Okay.
But she's struggling as well as me because
it's terrible.
There's no answers. There's no answers.
Well, this is heartbreaking to me because I watch a lot of true crime and I'm always mesmerized at the people because everybody is just regular. You know what I'm saying? You're just a regular person going about your day.
Yeah.
No matter if you chose the wrong person to date or like, you don't think you're gonna one day walk around and be talking and laughing, and the next day nobody hears from you.
Absolutely, because just like I said, walking around that town.
Yeah, I know it drains you.
I never thought this would happen to one of mine, or and it was depressing. I had to go because
I know somebody knows
I
something.
had 5 children because my son was young at that time. My son
Right.
just turned 18 this past year.
Okay.
He's about to be 19 in May.
They know something though.
Yeah, and
Somebody knows
I'm like I'm all these children have,
Yeah.
and they're all
I'm grateful
I have.
though. I'm grateful that you're around because I would hate to have
I would give
thought
my last breath to any one of my
if
babies.
those children did not have a grandmother.
No.
Because you know a lot of children are unfortunate to have somebody.
Watching that case about those children, my heart just breaks.
Okay.
It breaks because something's definitely wrong.
Well, before you jump off,
wrong.
I want you to give.
Children are a gift.
I want you to give your opinion.
From God.
I want you to give your opinion before you log out of here. I want you to tell the chat and the world who's listening, what do you think of the missing children in California City, California at this point? And what do you think of the police department, the same police department that you do feel failed your child back in 2012? What do you think of the case? And what do you think of this police department? And then I'll let you get on your way, baby.
My thoughts on these children, right from the very beginning, I had a gut feeling that these children never even made it to that house in Cal City.
Tell us why.
I believe that they did something to those children.
Okay.
I honestly believe they did something to those children before those children ever came. There's too many clues that it's red flags all over the place.
Okay.
You know, number one, the dogs. The dog never left the house. Okay. But that doesn't mean that the child was even in the house.
That's
there could have been things.
That's true. Belongings. Yes.
There could have been belongings from the children that were there that the dog sent it.
Right. Wow.
From my knowledge, the dog never tracked outside. Now, the dog did go outside and I guess alerted, but the dog never tracked outside.
Right.
If children were inside and they walked to that back door, went out to the back door, the dog would have smelled. I deal with dogs on a daily basis. Okay.
So you trust the dogs? Is that what you're saying to the chat?
I trust the dogs.
Okay.
I trust the dogs. Dogs are very intelligent.
Okay.
I have over 30 years in with pit bulls. I now have a German Shepherd and a German Shepherd mix that they're highly intelligent.
Yeah. Well, I think that's why they use them. I think that's why they've always been used, German Shepherds.
Dogs are very intelligent. These dogs, they spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars training these dogs.
Okay.
These dogs would have tracked those children sent from inside out that door.
So you think the children never made it to Cal City? So you think something? So you think something happened to them in Bakersfield?
Yep.
And what do you think happened?
I think they killed them.
You think the children are dead? So do you think they are dead in Bakersfield or taken out somewhere else?
I don't know.
Okay.
There's a lot of ground between Bakersfield and California City.
What do you think the reasoning is for killing the children?
Mm-hmm.
Just tell me what you think.
Honestly, I think he's demonic.
You think he just killed the kids for fun?
I think he sacrificed those children.
Well, tell them what you told me earlier. I'd rather come out of your mouth because it's better when it comes from the horse, how they heard what they heard.
Right.
Okay. I want you all in the chat to listen to what she's getting ready to say.
I'm not going to divulge the person
That's fine.
Told me. I don't know the validity of the comment that was made to me.
Okay.
But I was told that the adoptive father,
Trezell West is who she's speaking of,
was in some sort of a religious cult.
Okay.
He was a part of some religious cult. Now, the truth, like I said, the truth and validity to that, I don't know.
Okay.
But this is what I was told.
Okay.
And I don't know even how to find out about that because I'm not a techie, so
right.
You know, I can only go by what I was told.
Well, what do you think about the video that's been released? Because I watched some of the video tonight, this evening, And it's baffling watching the way he maneuvered with the van. It was as if he knew that house had a camera, because the guy said he always takes a certain way out. He never comes down that street to go or come out to go to his house, which he's like, why not? Why not?
So on that one video, on the one video, that was on December 19th. This is before the children were supposed to be even missing. Right,
when it's only 4 children seen going in the van.
They were going Christmas shopping.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
in Bakersfield.
Right.
They left around 11:30.
Yes,
according
they did.
to this video.
Yes, on the video.
And they arrived back around 2 something.
Right.
So it's a good hour to Bakersfield, give or take.
Yes, it is an hour. I've Googled.
Yep, it's an hour from Cal City to Bakersfield.
Okay.
And back.
Okay.
So that's 2 hours there. They were back by 2:30.
But they didn't have the kids with them. I don't think that they in that first video. I don't think they had the kids with them.
The two babies weren't there.
Yeah.
Because
but I mean, coming back.
Video.
When they got back.
Look at that video. Those children are taller than a 3 and a 4-year-old.
Okay, but I'm saying when they got back, there weren't no kids, was it? I don't remember. There weren't no kids when they returned.
No, there was no kids.
There were no kids. So I think they're trying to say they think they took them to the mother.
That's probably when those 4 children were left with supposed
the grandmother. Well, you know what I think about that? I said I don't believe nothing that comes out of his mouth at this point. Once that guy uploaded that video, but now watching this video, and the children left, 4 children left in the van and came back 2-3 hours later. One could say they took them and dropped them off somewhere, but because he's a liar, I just was the type like I don't really care. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like who can believe anything out of a person's mouth?
Okay, so the point is that if he left at 11:30, if they left at 11:30 with 4 children,
okay,
going to Bakersfield to go Christmas shopping, and they come back around 2 something, what they do? Would they shop 5 minutes? There wasn't enough time
because you're talking about the travel time itself.
Shopping.
Just the Christmas.
There wasn't time enough to do Christmas shopping.
An hour going and an hour back is 2 hours.
Right. And they returned by about 2:30, I believe is what was said on the video.
Well, maybe that's what they did. They just took a straight trip there, dropped the kids off, and then got back in the van and came back and parked the van.
Therefore, again, he was lying about going Christmas shopping.
Okay. So where do y'all get that? So where are y'all getting that from about the Christmas shopping?
Because that's what was supposedly said in that video. If you listen in that video, they said something he was supposed to be going. They were going Christmas shopping. Is somewhere he had stated
in an interview with the news.
I don't know whether it was to the police or whatever. Somewhere he had stated that they were going Christmas shopping or something. It was in that video. I watched that whole video that last night.
The news. You talk about the news interview.
Yeah, the one where you watch the 4 kids get in.
Oh, that one. Oh, yeah.
The neighbor. Now I don't know where the neighbor got that information.
See, that's
from.
What I'm saying.
The neighbor is the one that stated that he had Trezell had stated that he and his wife were going Christmas shopping. They had the 4 children with them, but when they came back, there was no time. There was no
that's
time
what he was saying. He didn't notice any bags. How quickly he was putting them in the car, like military. Whoop, 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 shut the door.
Yep.
So, but what I like to know is where to get that from.
He didn't even walk around to the driver's door.
And that is odd. He crawled in from the passenger side, which is peculiar.
Absolutely.
In a caravan, you would get in the driver's side because most right-hand sides don't have no doors.
Another thing that strikes me as being really odd is the fact that, okay, my first thought when I first heard the case, and they said they sent the children outside, and knowing that there's 6 kids there, my first thing was, well, okay, why would you put 2 outside, the youngest 2, outside in the cold, and the other ones are in the house? Why wouldn't you wait until later when the children are sleeping to wrap presents, if that's what you're doing?
I don't know.
None of that made sense to me. So I don't believe nothing coming out of his mouth.
That's why I didn't believe nothing about the grandparents, even though I saw that video of them going and coming back.
Their interview, they were extremely emotional. Made my skin crawl. Because even I cried. I don't even know these kids.
Yeah. I get
So
it.
if you've had these kids for 2 years, you have to have some kind of emotion for these children.
But that's what lets you know there's something wrong with them. Because if we as strangers can cry talking about kids, cry looking at their pictures, and we don't know them, you're standing on the news saying you're their parents, but you don't shed no tears, and we're strangers crying about your kids. That's what you call just insane.
I have cried and cried and cried and cried about these babies. I have cried about these babies. I have prayed for these babies. But I know in my heart, my gut,
that they gone.
These babies are no.
Yeah.
God got these babies.
I concur with you.
God
I hate to say that,
babies.
but I don't think that they're alive either. If they are, glory be to God, honey. Glory be to God.
And the bio mom, you know, everybody makes mistakes. I don't know the real story, but I feel for her because those were her babies.
Okay.
And no matter what happened, those babies came out of her.
Okay.
And that woman cried. That wasn't fake tears. That woman cried.
Right.
Her babies are missing.
Okay.
And I can't, as being a mother and knowing what it's like to have your child missing, my heart goes out to her.
Your friend said, is it possible they were trafficked?
I don't think so.
She said she don't think so,
because
Betty.
it happened too fast. If you think about it, the way he tries to say everything went down.
Yeah.
Those children.
It's the wording that's weird. His wording is weird.
That happened. Before he called the police, those children had been gone for days. I guarantee you.
Well, you know, some of us are thinking longer. Some of us are thinking longer than the 3 months.
Yep. Absolutely. That's
because we don't know what was going on in Bakersfield. We don't know if somebody's been coming around snooping or somebody did a pop-up visit or called and said, hey, we want to come by.
My question is, when is the last time somebody physically saw those babies?
Well, those people at the apartment should be able to tell it because they got a lot of neighbors over there. So somebody over at that apartment complex should be able to tell you something. Tell the world something.
And it honestly, it pisses me off.
Right.
Seriously, pisses me off that these people are not locked up.
Well, I think it's a matter of just getting all the evidence and making sure that it sticks because you don't want any loopholes when you're dealing with a case like this. 2 people.
Absolutely.
Because it can be one point the finger at the other one. So you want to make sure you got it to stick.
Right. And as far as the law enforcement out there, I don't have a lot of faith in them.
Okay.
As I said before, honestly, I don't trust any law enforcement anymore.
Okay.
I've lost faith with all the deaths, all the shootings that have gone on that could have been prevented. Just
Debbie said it's not what you know, it's what you can prove.
My daughter's case, with the 8 cases out there, but I have to say this. That is a new police chief out there.
Okay.
I have not encountered him, but I will be soon.
Okay. So you're going to pay him a little visit. In a nice way. Look, let me say that while we don't laugh. In a nice way. In a nice way. I
will be paying him a visit.
Okay.
But I believe that because the community has come together, and I commend the community for coming together for these children.
Debbie said she don't like them. They hired an actor to play the chief. That's your friend. She said she don't like them.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
She's had contact with them.
Okay, I figured that. I figured that.
I don't know him. But I have to say that I've seen more involvement and more things being done in regards to these children.
Well, maybe with this situation going on with the children, this could be an easier advice for everybody who has an issue that can go in and talk civilly with these people and get some understanding about the cold cases and the unsolved murders and missing people.
I just pray that these children get justice as well. That they continue to.
Tell me to Google him.
That they stay on them. That they stay diligent and no unturned stones
Okay.
where these children are concerned.
Well, I think if enough people start talking, that's the only way you can get change is if you speak up.
Absolutely.
That's just something that we've learned.
You know, there's a lot of how can I put it? To this day, my daughter's oldest son lives out there in Cal City.
Okay.
Right now with his girlfriend.
Okay.
And I tell him all the time, please be careful, please be careful. But he's a big guy, so I don't think anybody's going to run up on him. He's over 6'4" and over 300 pounds.
Well, he seemed like he was pretty secure, when he was giving his, commentary about the boys missing and what he thought, suspected.
Oh no, I'm talking about my grandson.
Oh, your grandson. I'm sorry. Okay.
My grandson, he lives out there.
Yeah, you told
with
me
his
that.
girlfriend, and so, I always tell him I worry, because there's so much evil out there. There's so many good people. Don't get me wrong.
Oh yes, it is.
But there's a lot of evil.
Yes, it is.
Out there in that desert right now.
Yes.
And
it's creepy to me.
My oldest. Yes.
It's creepy, and then as the sun set, it gets real creepy looking.
Yeah, when we first moved down here, my kids all had friends out there, and so they would want to go see their friends, and I'm like, well, you can't come out the house, so you better stay in the house,
right?
But I would, as soon as I get there, as soon as I start going down that long road to go into that town, my stomach starts clenching up, and I immediately start crying. Because I'm looking at that desert.
Yeah, it's just something about that.
My daughter is out there somewhere.
It's creepy, but it's just creepy looking at all that land. It just goes on and on. I mean, for miles. It just goes on and on.
And there's so much out there.
Yeah.
There's so many places.
Yeah.
That a person could do whatever. There's bodies being dumped in the Mojave Desert in California City. There's bodies being dumped out there.
Okay.
Because it's
have they retrieved bodies from out there that you know of?
And girl, every time they post a body being found, I break out in tears because I don't know, is that going to be my daughter?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Right.
I just get this overwhelming gut wrenching feeling, and then I have to wait to find out,
right,
is it her? Because now they and see, when this all first happened, the Missing Persons Bureau, because my daughter is listed nationwide.
Yeah, I saw the post. Yeah,
as a missing person, they had us come in, and they had myself and her children give DNA samples.
Well, that's what needs to be done. That's a very good idea. Right. Yes.
So that was done in the very beginning. When this first transpired, it was really hard to have your grandchildren go in and have to do this.
Oh yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah,
to put them through that, but I had to.
Well, yeah, because they gotta have somebody, just in case something happens to you, they gotta have somebody that they can test.
Right, and her father is no longer alive, so they couldn't have got DNA from my daughter's father because he passed away when she was 6 years old. I'm it. That's all they have.
But guess what? The new technology they have now is that relative of a relative. So you can go out here and do something, and they can test a relative of somebody they suspect, and baby, ting, it can come on back home. Yep. That's the new technology they're using now, is the relative of a relative. So that's what I like about the new technology they have now.
Absolutely.
But I
want to thank you so deeply,
comments are crazy,
for this platform.
Anytime. Miss Deb will be next. She can give me her story, but I'm glad I got to talk to you. She said she loves you, Deb. I want to thank you for coming on, and I'm glad my listeners got to hear. I got 28 thumbs up, 18 in the chat. Debbie sent you hearts. I'm praying for justice for both of you. I'm praying for the people of California City. I'm praying for all those people out there. I'm praying for these babies that are missing. We got an idea about them.
Absolutely.
And we got to pray that this Edward Gibson will slip up some form of fashion and tell somebody something, whatever.
God has been my stronghold. I never would have made it. I never
Thank you,
would have made it.
everyone. Thank you, baby.
God and these children, I never would have made it. I wouldn't be here. I can tell you now.
Okay.
I wouldn't be here.
Right. Well, at least you've got a piece of her with the babies.
Absolutely.
That's a blessing in itself, and you are a blessing to them, and that's all that matters. And I will keep mentioning
these kids are my world.
I will keep mentioning your daughter's name every chance I get, and let people know that they need to stay aware of this Edward Gibson. Thank you, Miss Debbie. She said, good luck, hoping for answers. That was Jesse's comment. And Red Rock said, we got you, hon. Yes, everybody will remember you. If you all want to check out her Facebook page, but don't be no stalker now. Miss Sheree Smith. Look, I don't want to hear no crazy stuff like about nobody in that DM. Okay, and I will be talking to Miss Debbie about her child here in the next day or two and bring you a story. I will try to bring it by tomorrow because I like to keep my word when someone asks me for something pertaining to their child or friend or whomever. But let me share a story on here before I go, before I let Miss Sheree go. You can listen at me when you clock out of here. But I already told Miss Sheree this story. Many of you don't know that because I don't tell all my personal business. But many years ago, my mother had a baby sister. Her name was Diane, and Diane lived in Memphis. Well, Diane was probably living a lifestyle that most would not condone. She was dating a married man, but she was a young girl and she had a baby. She had a baby girl. She only had one child at the time. The sad part of this story is that Diane obviously loved this man that she was dating. And one night they were in I guess like a bar, juke joint. Something happened, words was exchanged. Obviously, this guy she had been dating didn't like whatever she said. So he killed her outside of this bar. And he left my aunt there to die on the street. And this happened in Memphis in the early 70s. So you see, she didn't know that talking to some married man would end her life. And him murdering her left behind the child. And one of the sisters, one of my mother's sisters, she's a very feisty lady. She's not somebody you want to cross. She said he's going to get his one day. And he ended up getting his. And we're going to leave it at that.
Amen.
Karma came home for him snuffing out my mother's baby sister. You see, what comes around goes around.
Absolutely.
And to just bludgeon somebody out on the street because you don't like what they're saying and left that woman out there to die like that, and she had a child. And my grandmother ended up raising my cousin. And fortunately, there was somebody to raise her. And luckily, she was a grown person when my grandmother passed away. And this is the thing people don't understand. You just taking a life and you're not thinking about the harm that you do by murdering someone. You're leaving the parents, and then you're also leaving the children without a parent. And that's not your right. You don't have the right to do that.
All right. Absolutely.
Because like I said to Miss Sheree, imagine if Miss Sheree wasn't around, who would have taken care of these 4 kids? They would have been a product of the system. And we know from what we're talking about now, what can happen if you end up in foster care or the wrong adoptive family. So that's just something for you all to think about. God bless you, Miss Debbie. Love you. I will be talking to you, Miss Sheree. I will be talking to you. You get some rest, and I will talk to you later. And you call me anytime you need anything, okay? And I will be putting this ring in the mail. Okay, your butterfly.
Thank you so much.
Love you. Thanks for joining us, okay? Okay. Good night. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Okay. All right. That was Miss Sheree Smith of California. Her daughter, Desiree Thompson, went missing January 7th, 2012. The anniversary will be tomorrow. I want to thank you all for listening. I know that's not something that I usually do on my channel, but I want to do different things now on the channel. Talk to people. People give their story, their testimony about things they're gone through. Everybody has a voice. And as you see, she's Desiree's voice because she is missing. And this man, Edward Gibson, is believed to have harmed her. And he knows what happened to her because 9 times out of 10, he is the one who took her life. Thank you, Everett 580. Thank you. I did not mean to ignore anybody in the chat, but I wanted her to give her testimony without anybody asking questions because it wouldn't have worked with her trying to talk and then I jump in and try to answer what you're saying. It wouldn't have, the flow would have been all jacked up. So, but thank you for your kindness and listening. Mary Blue says prayers. Thank you, Miss Sheree. Miss Debbie, I will be contacting you tomorrow so you can share your story about your daughter. This is craziness. The stuff that's going on out here. I don't know what to say. I don't. I just, and the fact that they've got these cold cases going on out there in California City, just like anywhere, they don't have the manpower to solve these crimes. That was 2012. Now we've got what? 2021. You got 2 babies missing. You need all the people that can help talk. Thank you so much, Eris. I appreciate that. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. You want people to help. You want people to work. And she thinks at that time in 2012 there was corruption because of the detectives that she talked to. And it probably was. And let's just pray that it's not any corruption now. Because right now we got 2 kids out there missing. You've got these cold cases. Her daughter missing. Then Miss Debbie has a deceased child. So you see, we don't want people that's going to be slacking and making excuses. We don't want no excuses. You can't do the job. You don't have enough people. Then seek outside help. There's nothing wrong with asking for help. Eric says, what's taking them so long? I don't think they have the manpower or the money. That's what they told her back in 2012. They didn't want to spend the money. That's what they told the detective that was working then. And she thinks they pushed him out the door because he might have been seeing and smelling some stuff that wasn't right, because she said shortly after the detective left, the chief left. Like she said, a month or so after that detective left, the chief got gone. So who knows what the hell was going on. Debbie Shirley said ran him off. Okay. You guys, I want to thank you all for joining me. I'm going to come back with the nitty gritty here in a minute. And I don't know if Miss Debbie want to stick around for that because I don't play fair when it comes to these kids. But I will promise to try to be ladylike in the commentary I'm going to bring you guys. I'm going to bring you the said information pertaining. Okay, Debbie says I can. Okay. I don't know if y'all still wanted to stay on and give any commentary about what Miss Sheree said about her missing daughter. I think that guy did something to her baby. That's what I think. He already has a propensity for violence. He don't mind knocking women around. So my thing is, you knock them around, what else are you capable of? I mean, come on. And you like brandishing a gun or brandishing a knife, you know, my thing is, how many times you going to pull it out? You just doing it for show? Yeah, maybe today it's for show. Maybe the next time, hey, I want to show you a little something. That's just the truth. We have some wicked people out here. And that's why I tell women to be very careful of the people you take up with, the company you keep. When you see the signs that something ain't right, a little push, a little shove, little nasty comments, little sly comments, going through your personal effects, snooping, never a kind word. Run like hell. Run like hell. Because you deserve better than that. I always say you are worthy. And you need to say that to yourself. Even if you don't feel like you are, you need to say to yourself, I'm worthy. I'm better than this. Let this be somebody else's trouble. Because I don't need it. And it ain't that you're wishing it on another woman, but frankly, it ain't your problem. And you don't have to put up with no nonsense from no man. Period. 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 Right now, we're in desolate times. I'm sure a lot of people are feeling sick to their stomachs right now with all that's going on. Everybody trying to get their stimulus money. People are acting up. People are shooting each other. You see the stories I brought you. I'm going to sit on here a little bit longer because there's one story I want to talk to you about that I uploaded and I didn't do a live about. And I'm feeling kind of sick to my stomach about that other case where the girl jumped off the bridge with her baby. But that's my point today is you don't know people. People are not well. They're not stable. It doesn't take much to set people off. They get mad at you. I just brought you a story about the guy shooting the guy at the dang Target in Nashville. Now, what did he do to you? They say they didn't know each other. So you two are walking in the Target. I mean, what are you arguing about? Then you take it back to the electronics and he pulls out the gun and shoots the man right there, the girlfriend, other people standing around. I'm sure they're running, ducking. And then they said he was so cold, he went back and stood over him to make sure he was dead. And then he left Target, go to his car. What he was doing in the car, I do not know. Goes back in front of the store, takes the gun and put it in a planter, and surrenders. I'm confused. What did you just go to the car for? Did you buy something you want to put it up in your trunk? Because you don't want to take it to jail with you? I don't understand nothing that's going on out here. Random bombings. Nashville just had a bombing Christmas morning because somebody's thinking that the 5G is affecting people. You can't go to the Target without having an argument with somebody walking in the door. They said they started arguing in the door, walking in Target. And the police is like, oh, they don't know each other. They don't know each other. How do you know they don't know each other? I mean, is it an issue of who's getting the buggy first or who's running to the sanitizer first? Please help me understand. Did they bump into each other? You need, oh yeah, COVID. You need 6 feet? Is that what we were arguing over? Hey, get up off of me. You're too close. So then they kept mumbling with each other, walking in the doors. Then the gunman says, oh, I'll teach him. Want to argue with me. So you follow him to electronics and you won't let the argument die. So then you shoot him in a Target. What is wrong with you people? You need to get help. Seriously. Order online. I brought you all a story today about an African-American female who jumped off an overpass in Memphis. The story was uploaded 2 days ago. She held her baby in her arm while she jumped over, hit the man's truck who was going underneath the underpass. He gets out and calls 911. Lord, I'm trying to understand, baby, what was so bad that you would jump off a bridge with your baby? The grandmother said she had been depressed. She had just lost her job at the COVID testing center. So maybe they were, downsizing jobs or whatever. I don't know all the details. But nonetheless, that's what her grandmother said. But the sad part is, no matter if it was layoff, didn't need her anymore, dispute, whatever, I don't know, to go and see for a month about whatever's wrong, and you decide to say, well, I'm not happy with my life. I'm going to take my baby too. Well, you should have left that baby behind. You don't take the baby. You don't jump off with the baby. What about the baby? Maybe the baby wanted to live. This is what I don't understand. Love you, Sheree. Why in God's name would you jump off a bridge with your baby? You see, even in a person's misery, I empathize. But it was not fair to take that baby. because he don't know anything about being depressed. He don't know anything about having a job. Love you, babe. He don't know anything about that. And that wasn't fair to him to take him down that overpass. And I do feel sorry for this lady because I don't know what she was going through. And I've been depressed in my lifetime and I get down now about stuff. But I tell myself it ain't about to be often because I'm a child of God and I'm highly favored. And I don't have no reason to be upset. No matter how bad it looks and sounds, and I want to scream, holler, punch a wall, I have to check myself and say, everything's going to be all right. Lord Everest, what are you saying? She broke karmic law. Well, you know, God wouldn't want her to do this if you believe in God. He don't want you taking no babies nowhere. Whether you gave birth to them or not. That's not your place. But I can only think her mind was sickly because, you know, I don't like suicide because I had a cousin who killed himself back in 93. And that was the worst feeling. I can't even explain to you what it is like to go in a place where a person has shot themselves in the head. Trust me, it's not what you want to ever experience, ever. And I assumed that he was depressed about personal problems. He was married. I'm assuming they had issues. And he gave up that night. And he was a wonderful person. Really nice attitude, disposition. But something had a hold of him. And that's why I said I know how the devil will use people. He uses foot soldiers to infiltrate. He will try to suck the very life out of you if you let him. And that's what happened to this girl. Whatever she was going through. I don't know if she was just depressed because she didn't have work, or if she was struggling with her baby, if she was having men troubles. I don't know. But I wish she had talked to somebody before jumping off that overpass. Was it a demon? Everrock's really? Okay. Lord have mercy. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. I want you all to pray for these people out here. I want you to pray for Miss Sheree. Pray for Miss Debbie. Because a lot of people are troubled. They don't tell you their problems all the time. They don't talk about things that's bothering them. They don't have to. But there are a lot of people who are troubled. And there are going to be more people troubled now because of everything that's going on in our country with this not being able to work and the stimulus situation and not being able to get through the phone lines. I tried all that today and I could have pulled every strand of my hair out. But I can't get to that point because I got some living to do. But these stories trouble me. You know how angry I am about the little boys missing. I'm very angry still about that and the new information that's come out. And I'm going to jump off here to upload another video to bring you the said 411 of a new statement from family members of the West clan. As much as I hate going back into this belly of the beast, I'm going to bring it to you because a lot of you don't go to other social media sites to hear what people are talking about. Most of you have already seen the upload of the video through the AV News network that's on YouTube about the video of the West family coming out to the van with the kids. Well, now the cousin has released another statement, which is like, where is this going? All this chit chat. It's just getting redundant. I'm getting ready to bring you that right now. Give me a chance to take a quick break, and I'll be back to bring you the 411 and what everything is looking like pertaining to the kids in California that are still currently missing. And most of you are at your wits' end because now that the video has been released, you're waiting for an arrest. I don't know if we're going to get an arrest anytime soon. We can only pray that something will come now that that video is viral. And I want to thank that AV News team, Watchmen, whichsoever. I want to thank him because he went to this guy. The guy let him in. He let him see what was going on that. On that video. It just goes to show you people don't really care. These people are very selfish out here. And anybody that could harm a person, get a person gone, kill a person in cold blood, kill 2 babies, you already know they ain't fit. They ain't fit for nothing. And what they should think about is, just as quickly as they thought to harm these people who haven't done anything to them, the same favor can be returned. Coming right back. Like, share, subscribe, drop your comments below. This is Everyday Shenanigans. God bless Miss Debbie, Sheree, everybody in the chat. Thanks for hanging in. I'm coming right back with this 411 about the West Clan. You won't want to miss this. Everyday Shenanigans. I'm out of here. Bye-bye.